It's 3:19 a.m. Again. You glance at the clock, barely believing it's your voice, a whisper. Not again. You had dinner on time. You even dragged yourself through 10 pages of a book with half-shut eyes, just so you could tick off another box on your list and convince yourself you were progressing. And then just a little reward, right? You picked up your phone, thinking you deserved 5 minutes of mindless scrolling for surviving the past half hour of discipline. But now, the night is almost gone, and the cycle has reset. Again. This isn't a video about hating routines, mocking productivity hacks, or telling you to throw away your to-do list. No. This is a quiet confrontation, a mirror held to your face. Because unless you're deeply honest with yourself, none of those top 5 ways to get your life together will work. Not the habits, not the apps, not the color-coded planners. This is about something deeper. The psychology of comfort, the illusion of progress, the quiet tragedy of almost becoming the person you were meant to be. Here's the thing. Most people want change. Almost everyone says they do, but only a few are willing to disturb the comfort they've built to chase the discomfort that builds them. If you're a student, you might dream of top grades, but fear missing out on the party, the date, the dopamine of a screen lighting up with a message. If you're already in the grind, clocking in and out of a stable job, the paychecks start numbing your spirit. You come home drained, and the energy to do what you love, write, paint, build, create, has dissolved somewhere between the office and your doorstep. The hobbies that once made you feel alive now gather dust in the corners of your mind. And this is the trap, a life that feels okay enough, a routine that doesn't hurt enough to fix, but numbs just enough to slowly kill what's real inside you. Growth never happens where comfort thrives. And yet most of us set up our lives like padded rooms, safe, predictable, sterile. So why would you ever voluntarily break your own peace to chase the pain of progress? You scroll through self-help videos, skim another article titled 10 Proven Ways to Be More Focused. They all sound profound for a moment. You highlight quotes. You screenshot affirmations. You even buy that expensive planner. And yet, nothing changes. Why? Because transformation isn't about collecting tools, it's about using one chisel and bleeding with it. Let me tell you a secret that freed me. Most advice you see is generic. It's not built for your mind. It's a compass, not a map. You're not failing because you're lazy. You're failing because you're following someone else's rhythm in shoes that don't fit. Take this, the famous Pomodoro technique. Work 30 minutes, rest 5. It's gospel in productivity circles. But for me, it killed my flow. Every time I felt locked in, focused, deeply present, the timer would buzz like an annoying parent telling me it's recess. So I stopped. Not working, but obeying. I created my own flow. I worked until my mind felt heavy, not when a timer screamed. 1 hour, 2, sometimes even 5. Breaks came when my soul called, not my watch. That was real alignment. Not discipline by design, but rhythm by understanding. And maybe that's your problem. You're trying to live like a machine when you're a soul with storms inside. You're not a checklist. You're a contradiction, a creature of chaos and potential. Your suffering doesn't come from lack of discipline. It comes from betrayal when you follow a path that doesn't echo your truth. Ask yourself, are you reading that book because it moves you, or because your planner says it's reading hour? Are you isolating yourself in the name of discipline, or just afraid to admit that loneliness feels like achievement now? That isn't growth. That's silent self-abandonment. Real self-improvement isn't about becoming someone else. It's about digging deep into who you already are and peeling off the layers of noise that buried you. It's not about rejecting modern tools, but it's about using them as instruments, not chains. As one anonymous truth I once carved in my journal says, don't follow blueprints meant for someone else's home and wonder why you don't feel at home. This obsession with getting better, let's pause there. What does that even mean? Who defines better? Is it waking up at 5 a.m.? Is it cutting sugar? Is it becoming a walking productivity app that breathes only when scheduled? That's not growth. That's automation. And we weren't created to be optimized, we were created to awaken, to rise from inner sleep, to burn with the reason we were born. So define your own better. For some, it's building an empire. For others, it's simply learning to say no. Maybe for you it's letting go of self-hatred disguised as ambition. True improvement doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like peace. And yet it hurts, because peace always begins with facing your own chaos. The real war isn't out there, it's within. And here's what I've learned in the dark, when I couldn't even look in the mirror. Progress is not about perfection. It's about patience. It takes time. Scientifically 18 to 21 days to build a habit. Spiritually, it might take years to unlearn a lie you believed since childhood. Why, then, do we break down after 2 failed days? Why do we treat ourselves like broken machines when we are becoming gardens? A seed doesn't bloom overnight. It breaks first. The soil is dark before light ever touches it. So breathe. You are not behind. You are becoming. And in this process, practice something most people misunderstand: self-compassion. Not indulgence. Not blind forgiveness, but accountability with kindness. It's not about saying it's okay every time you mess up. That's not love, that's enabling. Think about it. If someone hurt you again and again, but said sorry each time, would you trust them? Then why treat yourself the same? Real compassion is tough love. It says, I see where you fell, but I also see what you can be. Be stern, but be gentle. Be honest, but never cruel. Because no one thrives under shame. You rise when you are seen, and you become what you consistently believe you are. Another lesson: stay curious. The moment you believe you've learned enough, you stop evolving. I've met the sharpest minds, and they never knew they were the smartest in the room, because they were always listening, always reading, always searching. Growth is a fire that feeds on wonder. So read one more page, ask one more question, watch one more documentary. Life doesn't reward the perfect, it rewards the persistent. And maybe most importantly, celebrate your quirks. Your weirdness isn't your flaw, it's your fingerprint. Don't hide the things that make you different. Record your wins. Write down your proudest moments. When the storms come, and they will, you'll need reminders that you've survived worse. That you're still here, still standing. But above all else, never lose your why. Not your goals, not your steps, your why. That's your anchor. That's your ignition switch when everything else shuts down. For me, it's a note taped to my desk. Just one sentence. But it's fire when I forget who I am. When the night is long and motivation dies, purpose remains. It whispers, you didn't come this far to stop now. Write your why. Stick it where you'll see it daily. Read it when the doubt is loud. And watch how even your weakest day bends before a reason that's stronger than comfort. So no, this isn't a motivational speech. It's a mirror, a voice from your future self telling you you were always capable. You just had to believe long enough to see it. Let the night be long. Let the world be loud. Let your soul speak in whispers. Because you don't need 1,000 methods. You need one moment of truth, one honest intention, one deep breath, and the courage to try again. Not tomorrow. Now, give your dream a chance.